Stop what you're doing, put your phone down, and look at yourself. Have you scroll through 47 browser tabs, switch between 8 projects, and check Slack 23 times just today? If you've done that, you gotta understand your brain is operating with the same cognitive power as if you were under the influence. That's why you work 10 hours every day, but only 2 hours of real work get done. And research tells us that that implies that you're operating around 20 IQ points below your genetic potential, which is the difference between being average or being gifted, between struggling in business and actually crushing it. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to reverse it. In my work with hundreds of founders over the past 8 years, I hear the same lines on repeat every time. Things like, I spend 80 hours a week on the business, but we're not moving fast enough. I know I have the potential, but I can't get out of my own way. Or some days I'm on fire, crushing it, and other days I cannot get out of bed. Does that sound familiar? Of course it does. Because your brain evolved through hundreds of thousands of years to keep you alive in an environment that is no longer here. And these days, it's assaulted by constant inputs, constant noise, and constant threat simulations. The good news is that once you implement the changes I'm going to show you in a minute, you can create fast, radical impact. The bad news is that every time you operate under the influence, you're literally killing neurons, and some of that damage is not reversible. So the window to fix it is now, while your brain has plasticity. So here are the 7 brain killers that are silently destroying your IQ and how to reverse them. Killer number 1 is information overload. See, the thing that makes you feel behind every day is that your working memory maxes out at around 5 items. But you're trying to hold 47 browser tabs, 12 Slack threads, and 8 active projects at the same time. And that overloads your brain control center, triggers panic mode, and shuts down your ability to think clearly. And every additional input not only does it not add, but it's actually destroying your capacity to handle it. Every open loop costs you processing power. And if you look at the research, this is like if your effective IQ would drop by around 8 points. That's measurable real intelligence that you're burning for nothing. So right now, the first way to fix this is to open your browser, count your tabs, and if you have more than 5 tabs, you're literally killing your brain. So close everything except the one thing you're working on. Then step 2, tonight, at the end of the day, open a note on your phone and write 3 headings. 1 is finished, so the things you finished today. 2 is in progress, 2 things that you're still working on. And 3rd is blocked, the one thing that is currently hurting your progress. This is how you close loops within the day, and you tell your brain that it can finally relax. This alone frees processing power for tomorrow. Now, quick pause. If you're actually serious about executing with peak clarity, focus, and consistency every single day, we've worked hundreds of founders, remove procrastination and burnout by about 90%, triple the productivity within about 6 weeks, and we're rated 4.7 on Trustpilot. So if you truly want to succeed fast, the easy way, book a call with us. Now, killer number 2 is context switching, the direct consequence of information overload. Because every time you switch from your deck to Slack, to email, to your phone, to Notion, you pay a cognitive tax for up to 23 minutes to fully refocus. And that literally decreases your productivity by 40% because you're burning mental glucose doing cognitive sprints every 3 minutes. And it also skyrockets the number of mistakes you make because every time you switch tasks, you have attention lingering on the previous task. So over time, you cannot pay a deep attention to anything. And the worst thing is that the smarter you are, the higher the cost because you can literally pay attention to a lot of things superficially, but nothing really deeply. And that can really reduce your effective IQ by about 10 to 15 points. I remember last month, a founder came to me and said, Leon, dude, I'm working 14 hours a day. I'm exhausted and I don't know where my time is going. So the first thing we did is help him install Rescue Time. And he literally realized that he was spending about 3 hours every day switching between tasks. And every switch made him dumber for the next 23 minutes. So how do we fix it? Well, we implemented our ring fencing protocol. So set a timer for 90 minutes. Before you start, center yourself through breath work. Then write down one outcome for the session, something that absolutely must happen so you can later close the loop and then focus on it for about 90 minutes. At the end of it, you stand up, you walk, you drink water, you give your brain the ability to encode and process the information it just learned. And if you do this 4 times a week, I can guarantee that you can get more done than you previously did in a full week. That's how elastic time becomes when you're fully focused. Now, killer number 3 is chronic stress. If you pair information overload with context switching, you get chronic stress. In the short term, spikes of cortisol are useful performance tools, but in the long term, it's brain damage because you train tomorrow's cognitive capacity for today's hustle. And when your cortisol stays up a long time, it kills brain cells. It literally shrinks the regions that store memory and literally prevents you from thinking clearly. So it's like making critical business decision with a compromised operating system. If you look at the research, long-term elevated cortisol can cost you for about 10 to 15 IQ points, and some of that damage is permanent. So you need to have aggressive recovery blocks between the days. Every time you finish a 90-minute work session, schedule 20 minutes where nothing can reach you. No email, no Slack, no calls. Just go for a walk, breathe, stare out the window, maybe talk to someone. Give your brain the ability to clear stress hormones, restore attention, and consolidate what you just learned. And this is not self-care. This literally is a strategy. And if you see any of those patterns right now in your brain, it doesn't mean you're lazy or you're broken. It means that your brain is exactly doing what it evolved to do, which is stay looking for threats. But right now, there are no more threats in your environment. And every time you run like this, you're just making everything worse. The most important thing you have to do is to rewire that pattern, because the founders you admire are not smarter than you. They started by removing these brain killers so they can actually think clearly, and then design the right system, and then hire the right people, and so on and so forth. But even if you remove chronic stress, you're always going to be operating below potential if you do not train your attention, which killer number 4 is having no meditation. See, you've been told that meditation is for monks and stay-at-home moms. Wrong. Meditation is weight training for the part of the brain that decides whether you execute or procrastinate. And if you commit to meditation for 8 weeks, at least 12 minutes every day, I guarantee that you will start finishing what you start. That you're going to fail voice is going to get quieter. You're going to be making way less mistakes, and you're going to rewire the brain to perform better under pressure. And if you look at the research, this can give you between 4 and 7 functional IQ points through better attentional control. Now, there's a zillion different meditation techniques. In my program, I give my clients a Buddhist protocol that rewires focus circuits in about 6 weeks, but you don't need that. Just download an app, Waking Up, Headspace, Calm, set 12 minutes a day, and in 1 week, you'll feel the difference. Now, is this enough? It is not enough. You also need to, killer number 5, avoid bad nutrition. See, food is not just fuel. Your cognitive horsepower is downstream of what you eat, and your brain is 60% fat and uses about 20% of your body's energy. So if you feed it garbage like soccer snacks, fast food, you're running your company on a failing power grid. One of the best things you can do for your brain is to have omega-3 fatty acids, because they directly impact your mental sharpness and the blood flow to the brain. The more omega-3 you have, you get larger, healthier memory centers, and you become better at solving problems, and you reverse a little bit of that cognitive decline. So in order to take your nutrition to a level that it doesn't compromise your ability to perform, you have to do 3 simple changes. One is to remove all fast food from your diet, at least during the work week. Then add omega-3 daily and drink a lot of water, because 2% hydration drop leads to 40% productivity drop. I remember one client who came to us when he was living on Monster and McDonald's, and he was not getting the results he wanted in his business. And the first thing we did after we run the analysis was to change his diet. And we literally just added a very simple diet of, leafy greens, high protein, and of course, omega-3. And then one day, all of a sudden, he texts me, he's like, dude, this is what normal feels like? This is what healthy people are running on? Yes, right? The guy, he had been running on low quality fuel that compromised his ability to actually get things done and feel good about it. If you look at the research, is like operating with, 6 to 8 IQ points below baseline. Now, killer number 6 is having no exercise. See, exercise goes beyond just aesthetics or feeling good. No, it's literally the most potent brain training tool we have, because it triggers a 3x increase in the protein responsible for neuroplasticity, so brain rewiring, and neurogenesis, neuron creation, which is called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. If you skip exercise, you're skipping your brain's growth hormone. hormone. Now, you don't need to go crazy with this. You just need 30 minutes a day of vigorous cardio or weightlifting that literally boosts memory, attention, executive function, and your ability to think clearly. What matters is that you move intensely for 30 minutes and you trigger that brain growth hormone you need to improve your memory, your attention, your ability to cognitively process what happens to you. And finally, you probably have guessed this, is insufficient sleep. That's brain killer number 7. If you think that sleeping 5 hours a day is a badge of honor, you're literally destroying your brain. 24 hours without sleep drops IQ for about 10 points, and even 5-6 hours per night costs around 7 points. When I was an architect, I had to pull at least one all-nighter, sometimes 2 every single week. And not only that made me very dumb for a long time, but it also created a lot of sleep problems that it took me years to fix. So nailing your sleep is the easiest, most powerful high-performance intervention that you can do to really take your performance to the next level. Because when you sleep, your hippocampus, which is the brain region that consolidates memory, cleans up those synapses and resets your learning capacity. If you have chronic short sleep, your hippocampal literally shrinks. So you have less working memory, you have less alertness, you have less focus, and you can't learn as effectively. So I always tell my clients, you don't need to go crazy, you don't need to re-architect your life around sleep, but 7 hours minimum, and schedule that on your calendar. It is the most important performance interventions you can make. So let's do the math. Assuming that you are sleeping 5 hours to 6 every day, that takes 8 IQ points off. If you're chronically stressed, minus 10 points. If you're context switching every day, that's minus 8 points. If you're eating like garbage, minus 6 points. If you're never exercising, minus 4 points. That's around 30 IQ points you're leaving on the table. You could have the brain of a Stanford PhD, but you are operating at average. Now, if you do nothing, tomorrow you're gonna have another 10-hour day with only 2 hours worth of results. In next month, you're gonna be in exactly the same pace, wondering why you're not moving fast enough. And next year, you'll see competitors who started after you crush you. The easiest way to fix it is to never have 47 tabs, only 5, and really focus on something until you finish it. The medium intervention is to only work in ring-fence sessions, 90-minute work blocks. But the highest ROI is to book a call with us and let us give you the complete system that has helped hundreds of founders just like you unlock 6+ hours of deep work and flow every single day and scale their business exponentially fast. The founders that, play business the easy way and they get the best results choose number 3. But whatever you choose to do, at least do something. Don't be one more statistic of those who work all day, every day, only to end up failing in 90% of times. If you're serious about getting real help, the link is below. We're rated 4.7 Trustpilot, and we have transformed 350+ founders. See you in the next video.